Right, it's Sunday the 9th of March. It's been a long winter. I'm getting back to sort of full fitness now. I'm doing 30-mile mountain bike rides, plenty of walking, hiking. But yeah, it's been a struggle over the winter getting my strength back, and this shoulder has been worse than me hip, believe it or not. But hey, I'm back here, we're growing food. So I'm going to give you a tour of what I've been doing. Not so much over the winter because it's no dig, so everything's prepared sort of October, November. I'm going to go through what seeds I've got going in the greenhouse and what I'm planning to grow over the next few months. So we'll start with the greenhouse then. Still got the old canes from last year. So I've got some potatoes chitting there. So that's the idea of getting them to sprout before you plant them. And seeds, tomatoes I've probably started a bit early with them. We've got melon, peppers. So I've got some herbs there. So I'm building a herb garden further down I'm going to show you. And what we've got there, cabbage. I've got onions, lettuce. So the idea is to put them in a tray like that so you can prick them out, so it's far more efficient than using the seed trays. So white onions there. I've got different cabbage, kale. Remembering what everything is, peas. Yeah. So I've got some pots there for potting on. That's got beetroot in it. So yeah, at least I'm not buying the plug plants, it gets very expensive. So I'll start these off from a heat mat at home. I'll drop the picture in of that. The heat mat has been really useful, and it's the first time I've done that this year. And just on the insulation there, it doesn't look much. Well, that really helps if it drops cold. I do have a heater to put in here once we get going. But that, with a bit of fleece, if you drop the fleece on top as well, it sort of helps with the frost in the UK anyway. So yeah, that's the greenhouse. As I mentioned earlier, the land, it's no dig. If you see the muck that I've put down there, so you can see sort of the texture of it. Just, see that? You put that down in October, November. So you want compost if you're growing down, muck if you're growing up. So the idea is that feeds the soil over the winter, so get that down end of October, November. And then if you get any sort of weeds, it's just like that. It's easy to weed it. So it suppresses all the weeds over the winter. So yeah, got some raspberry canes there. That's the framework for the tomatoes, and maybe cucumbers. And the hoops are for the brassicas. So I'm just sort of planning out where I'm going with it. So you've got some idea. So brassicas there, tomatoes and cucumbers, and then where that patch there would likely be onions. I haven't fully decided yet. Bit of lamb's lettuce there over the winter. So yeah, if you before we get looking, let's look at what my neighbour's been doing. So I've got new neighbours because this was a mess last year. And look what he's done there in the space of a few months. So that shed there, I could rent that out on Airbnb. But it's nice to see people doing something with it. So next door as well, Glenn has made a real nice job of that. So you've got the lavender there. Again, with no dig, you can put stuff where you want. You don't have to worry about crop rotation too much. I did attempt with the winter veg like broccoli, purple broccoli. It did get attacked because the covers came off, but it's still going to go. Be good for April, that. We've got the broad beans in there that I put over last October. The broad beans went in. So I've tried to have some continuation with the crops over winter. So the spinach there again, a bit more sun, that'll be okay. That. They're winter onions, shallots, garlic at the end. Broccoli there, that's going to be okay. Everything's a bit messy, it doesn't line up. Doesn't really matter with no dig, you stick it wherever. It's going to be alright, because it's the way you feed the soil, you see. Anything will grow really. Yeah, so the plum tree, this is nearly 3 years old, so we're starting to see some flowering there. It may produce something. Potatoes, I've put the first earlies in last week, to be honest. So them 2 rows there, first earlies. The next few rows will go in about 3 weeks' time. Don't eat loads of potatoes, but it's good for the soil. Yeah. Bit more broad beans there. These are winter cabbage that didn't go to plan. They got attacked with the covers off again. That's my fault, really. The pigeons had a go at them, but look, I've put the bottles round them with a bit of compost, and they are actually coming back, so they will be okay. So the bottles protect the pigeons from attacking them if you've not used them before. I've got some kale, some of it, there's a bit left. It's gone to seed, it's flowered though, hasn't it? So yeah, and cherry tree. I may have to cover that because the birds will probably eat the cherries from it as well. And then we can see what my neighbour Dave's been doing. Transformed this. This was a real mess. So, you know, fair play. Look at that. We live in that shed. Good stuff. So, and finally then, I've got bags here for carrots because on this allotment we struggle with carrots and carrot fly, so I'm just going to put a few in bags, and I've got a big sort of planter at home for growing carrots anyway. And then at the end here I've built a herb garden, so I can grow salad and herbs and things in this. It's just I want to use this space without ripping all the trees out, because I like the hazelnut. I like to use it for a bit of kindling and sticks for making tunnels and things for when you're putting your fleece over your crops. So it's nothing special, I just chucked it together. So yeah, just don't fall over. So that's about it really. Just thinking, yeah, I use Charles Dowding's growing calendar to sort of remind myself what sort of things I need to start from seed early on. I'll drop a picture of that in as well. So that's the March update.